Stand entry and exit are huge factors influencing your success during the fall hunting season. So how can you ensure that you can move throughout your property and not alert that mature buck to your presence? That's the topic of today's Land Beat. One of the things that we like to ensure as we move through our property is that we can do so without letting deer know that we are coming or going. And particularly if you're near a food plot that has another food plot nearby, even if you don't hunt one of them, if you have to go by it to access another, essentially you have alerted deer in that plot to your presence. So that's why when a lot of places are set up along a road system and you have plots along that road, that often is not a good design, because even when you're not there, you are still putting scent and other things there to let deer know, hey, somebody's in the area. Well, one of the things that we try to do in all of our plots, whether it's an early successional vegetation field that we like to hunt, a food plot or whatever, is make sure that we break them up between that and other parts of the property with screening. We can do that with trees, shrubs, vegetation. Sometimes we use corn or sorghum for that. But what we have done here is this is something that's going to be long-term, break up this early successional vegetation field in front of me here that we hunt very regularly with what we have another early successional vegetation field and food plot on top. This narrow strip of woods through here, when we get into the winter and all of our leaves are gone, some places it's pretty sparse through. So even if we're not hunting here, just being up here and moving along, sometimes deer or turkeys in here are alerted to our presence. So what we have done here is we have come in and actually planted a bunch of wildlife-friendly shrubby species. A few trees, a few pine trees in here, but a lot of shrubby stuff. Things like red osier dogwood, American plum, things that deer, turkeys, and a whole bunch of other wildlife species like, but at the same time get tall enough, they're nice and bushy, will block this entirely between the two, provide food, provide cover, and something that's going to be here forever, so I don't have to continually come in and plant. Now, as you can see, it's open here, but as this stuff starts to get up, this is really going to close this off. So when you're laying this out, you need to, maybe 30, 40 feet in many cases of stuff. So it's not just one row. In many cases, it's 2 or 3 rows alternated to make sure that it is good and blocked. If you want to go a little bit wider, man, that's fine too. Animals will actually use it as a travel corridor. Nothing wrong with that. But in this particular place, we just want this completely as a screening. Now, you might say, geez, you have everything tubed. Well, that's because when you have succulent plants in this age class, deer love to come in and nip the tops. So what we have done is we have tubed all of these just to protect them until this terminal leader gets up above where deer are going to browse. So we buy the tree, we buy the tube, we buy the stake, and all of a sudden you say, hey, you got a few dollars in this. Well, we are certainly invested into the long haul for deer. However, this particular place, we actually got this cost shared. This is part of an NRCS program. We have a CSP, which is a conservation stewardship program, that are cost shared with this to allow us to enhance this wildlife habitat on our place. We actually did all of this work, but that got to pay for some of this. Not all of it, but certainly helped. Now, the Conservation Stewardship Program is a great wildlife program through the NRCS. And what that means is it's not just tree planting or shrub planting. There's a whole host of things that you can do to enhance wildlife habitat on your area. Some of the ones we've taken advantage of are obviously this tree planting here, or this cultural planting, where we are selecting trees that have cultural importance to Pennsylvania, where we are. We have done tree and cavity snags, where we have girdled trees to provide cavities for bird and other mammal species. There's a part of that program for that. We have done edge feathering. We have done all kinds of things. The cool thing is, depending on wherever you are, and the NRCS has counties all across the United States, there are certain programs, a whole list of programs that are applicable for your area. You're able to go in and pick which ones you want to do on your property, which ones would be most helpful to meet your goals, take advantage of those, and greatly enhance the wildlife habitat where you live.